place swallows you, brings out you with you.
Players, welcome to the Bunker Game. A role-playing experience you'll never forget. Actors, our players await.
Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. Okay, tonight we are talking the newly released Shudder exclusive, The Bunker Game. Directed by Roberto Zazzara, and it stars, I think her name is pronounced Gaia, I hope so. It's either Gaia or Gia, I'm not sure, but Gaia Weiss. And then the other two main characters in this movie are Mike Ryder, who plays her cousin Harry, and then kind of her love interest in this movie, Lorenzo Riquelme, as Gregorio, but we're just going to call him Greg. But either way, all right, so basically in a nutshell, this movie takes place in a bunker, a World War II bunker, and actually it is a real thing, okay? Like, bravo for deciding to shoot in this bunker and actually being allowed access to shoot in this bunker, because holy shit, did it ever just like amp up the look of this movie. It's actually shot in Italy, Rome, Italy, and there's this bunker, this World War II, I guess the Germans used it. I did a bit of research on it earlier, but it was a German-used World War II bunker, and I believe the name is the Cerreto or Cerretti bunker, okay? So it's a real place, all right? Now, I'm sure they dressed it up a little bit, but it is like a touristy place. You can actually take tours through this bunker. So even though I'm sure they dressed it up to kind of look how they wanted it to, a lot of the stuff was already in there, which was fantastic because, I mean, how much money on just that alone are you going to save on the budget? So, and that was one of the things that I liked about this movie is it didn't look cheap, and it didn't look cheaply made. I mean, and a lot of it had to do with the look of this bunker because it's a real thing, which was awesome. I also like the idea of this movie, you know, getting into the first half of the movie, where it's this role-playing thing, or a LARP, as they call it, where you dress up and you kind of act out this, it's almost like a game, a role-playing game, where you fully submerge yourself into the characters that you've chosen to play. And that's what they've done in this instant, or in this movie, is they've you know, there's a handful of people that have either bought or rented this bunker, and then they've turned it into this role-playing game where you can go in there. I don't think they say for how long, but I think it's a couple of days, like 3-4 days. It might even be up to a week. But you're living in this World War II bunker, kind of living at that time, and there's Germans, you know, Nazis in this bunker. People are playing those roles and all that sort of stuff. Okay, it's all kind of laid out for you in the first act of this movie, which I thought was fantastic. A lot of movies, you know, they character build, but not to this extent. But I mean, we learn a lot about our main characters in this movie, and I again, being a real bunker, and the way they had it dressed up, and the idea of this movie was great. But it's the second half of this movie that I had issue with. I haven't read any other reviews for this. I'm kind of late getting to this one, but I didn't read any reviews. All I did was just see that it kind of got put on Shudder like a week ago, and I didn't even really watch the trailer for it. I just, you know, sometimes when you click on the little icon there on Shudder, it's like Netflix, where it'll just play the trailer for you. But I wasn't really paying attention as it was playing. I just knew it was on there, and it looked kind of cool, so I knew I was going to do a review on it. So I really knew nothing about this movie going into it, and I didn't read any reviews prior to sitting down here, but I see on IMDb that it's sitting at a 3.7 out of 10. Okay, and it's got like 170 kind of votes already, so it's you know, kind of realistic. And the first thing that popped in my head is like, okay, there's no way people can have an issue with the acting in this movie, because it was fairly decent. The bunker, like I've already said, is a fantastic location. Filming wise, it was awesome. I mean, to shoot some of the scenes that they did in this tight location was awesome. No problem with that at all. I think the problem that people are having with this movie is the second half, okay? Because at some point in this movie, you know, like the electrical system fails for whatever reason, you know what I mean? And they have to evacuate all the people that are role-playing here, and then some of the staff stay behind just for whatever reason. And then, you know, the doors close on them and they kind of get trapped inside. And that's kind of where the second half of this movie picks up. And then Gaia Weiss's character, Laura, kind of goes after to find Greg because he disappears. And Greg is the kind of the guy behind all this idea. And he kind of goes missing, and they have like a love interest. And, you know, Greg finds out Laura's pregnant and all this sort of stuff. So he goes missing while they're evacuating all the people. So the staff stay behind. She goes to find him. She can't do it, but she comes into this section of the bunker where they're not really supposed to be. And then she thinks she sees a ghost, okay? And that's kind of where the second half of this movie picks up. And then from there, it's downhill. It is, because it just turns into this predictable, cliche-filled, run-of-the-mill kind of a ghost story that you've seen 1,000 times before. You know, maybe in different scenarios, but I mean, it's all the same thing. And like, I can't, there's 5 different people listed as the writers and the screenplay writers for this movie. And I'm thinking to myself, how can these 5 people who all took credit for writing this movie sit through the second half of this film and be happy with it? I don't know. It just, as soon as she sees the ghost and we get involved in that portion of it, it just turns into a standard run-of-the-mill ghost story. And I didn't not like it, but I'm thinking to myself, it could have been so much better. They had all this opportunity to make this killer story. And I don't know. In my opinion, they didn't pull it off. It just became boring. It really did. It's not scary. I mean, not that a ghost story has to be scary, but goddamn, you've got this creepy as fuck World War II bunker. I mean, use the atmosphere, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? And they did somewhat, but just the story itself in the second half. I sound like a broken record here. But I think for the most part, the issues people are having with this flick is the second half of this movie. And the ending, it's just boring. It's boring. I'm just straight up, it's fucking boring. It's too bad, really, because the acting's on point. The location is fucking killer. You know, the filming, the cinematography, everything is on point, okay? It doesn't look like a low-budget film. It really doesn't. It's just the story and the screenplay, the second half. God damn. Although, okay, so all that being said, okay, I am highly recommending you watch this movie, though, okay? I know I'm not making the second half of this flick sound very good, but seriously, it's an hour and a half long, okay? It does move at a fairly decent click. Usually I'm bitching and complaining, about, it could have been 10 minutes shorter or blah, blah. No, I think this, for the most part, is the right runtime, okay? And it does move. There are some slow points. Again, it's a slow burn movie, okay? But the burn at the end, it's more like a fizzle. So it didn't do it for me. But again, I am recommending that you watch this flick. And again, it's on Shudder. What do you pay? $5-6 a month for Shudder? So you're really watching this movie for next to nothing. So, I mean, if it's a rainy Saturday afternoon, definitely give this one a watch. For me to give it a rating, again, it's sitting at a 3.7 on IMDb. Listen, I would give this a 5, okay? A 5 out of 10. Again, the first half of this movie I thought was fantastic. I really did. Okay, and again, a lot of it has to do with the bunker itself, okay, and the way it's set up. But the acting is good in this movie too. So it's just, I don't know, they had so much potential to take this movie to places, not many movies go to. And I just felt they dropped the ball, especially with 5 people involved in the writing and the screenplay of this flick. So anyways, if you've seen this one, let me know what you think. I'm very curious to see what you guys, your thoughts are on this movie. But it's out now. It's called The Bunker Game. Definitely give it a watch. Absolutely. Okay. And then come back. Let me know what you think about it, guys. And until next time.